Hello, I'm back. I've actually been traveling a lot the last few years. With the onset of remote work, I've been everywhere from China, multiple times actually, Japan, Singapore, Egypt, Ireland, Papua New Guinea, Palau. I even lived in Tajikistan for a little bit. Oh, and then once traveling through Mexico, I ducked into Moldova. I even extensively traveled Ukraine during the war. Basically, I became overwhelmed with footage over the years, and I have no idea where to even begin to edit it. So I've decided to start with a clean slate, probably focusing more on aviation content, as that's so much easier to edit. I have a couple of flights this morning on Korean Air out of my home airport of Brisbane, and I'm looking forward to them. Let's go traveling.
This is a Brisbane Airport train. The next station is the Brisbane International Airport. Customers...
That's going through to New York. So yeah, today I'm flying from Brisbane to New York JFK in business class on Korean Air with a very quick connection in Seoul. Hopefully the product is a bit different on each flight so that I can do a bit of a compare and contrast for you. For my first flight, I'm on the Boeing 787. I absolutely love the Korean Air livery. I find the blue very soothing. First off, a quick stop at the lounge. Korean uses the Plaza Premium Lounge in Brisbane, which is co-branded as a KAL lounge. And Korean business class passengers do get a little bit of an extended drinks menu. The food selection is pretty good. I have an aversion to breakfast foods in general, as I have PTSD from working hotel breakfast buffets, but was able to put together a nice light brekkie of meat, cheese and fruit.
감사합니다. 건너편 라면.
So first impressions of the seat are, it's pretty good. There's a 222 configuration in the cabin, but it's staggered, so every seat has direct aisle access. And there's plenty of leg room, plenty of foot room. There's no like weird cubby that you have to stick your feet into. The only problem is a pretty severe lack of storage close to you. There's kind of a little pouch to the left of your seat, and then there's a little cubby hole above the ottoman. But it's really hard to get all of my stuff, which is just an action camera, a phone and a charger, and a pair of headphones, where I need it to be and out of the way. The meal service started with a little amuse-bouche of scallop, asparagus, and something yellow, and champagne, of course. And it was delicious. So I'm looking forward to the main meal, which is bibimbap. So next up was a prawn appetizer, and I'm not really a prawn person, but it was still pretty tasty. And service has been very, very good so far. I went up to the bathroom. When I came back, my champagne was refilled. Everyone's really friendly. It's been, so far a good start to the flight.
and my main course of bibimbap has arrived. I've not flown Korean Air for about 15 years. I'm pretty sure they serve this, maybe a slightly pared down version, in economy, and I remember that being like the best economy class meal I've ever had in my life. So I'm looking very much forward to eating this. And just as I thought, it was absolutely delicious. So dessert is fruit and cheese. I have opted not to get the cheese because I am watching calories a bit, and I'm a little worried that I'm about to spend a month in the United States with a lot of business class flights coming up. But it's a nice little fruit plate. Nothing special. Right, even though it's the middle of the morning, I think it's time to sleep because I've got to do some weird jet lag management to make sure I'm well rested when I get to New York. So I just woke up from my nap a little earlier than planned, but I was given snacks, so I am very keen to find out what custard bread is. I think it's just plain sponge cake. Okay, so I did manage to get a bit of a proper sleep. Then it's time for dinner. To start with, it was a garden salad and bread roll. Salad was pretty bland, nothing to write home about. And then for the main was a beef stew. Again, nothing too exciting. And I have arrived at Incheon. I don't have enough time to go to the lounge, but the flight from Brisbane was very successful. It was a very pleasant flight. The service was impeccable. Just lots of constant attention to fine detail. Flight attendants asked how the flight was at the end of it, all of that kind of stuff, which is really nice. For the flight to New York, I'm on an A380, which is very cool under most circumstances, but when I booked this flight, it was on a 747, which is even cooler, but I will live with the A380, I am sure. I already like this seat better. It's not as private as on the 787, so I actually thought it would be worse, but there is tons of storage and there's no one sitting next to me, fingers crossed. There's actual cup holders too, which is a nice improvement. The only cruel thing is that I've got a very good view from outside the window of the 747 that goes to New York tomorrow morning. So I have flown this seat, or a variation thereof, many times on many different airlines, and it's one of my favorite because there's so much room to spread out. The only problem is if there's someone sitting next to you, and on the many flights I've taken on the seat, I have never actually had someone sitting next to me. The Korean configuration is a little odd though. There's no ottoman, so I'm assuming the leg rest comes way out when you're in bed mode, I hope. So there is a menu on board, but I actually pre-ordered online before I took off. The attendants did reconfirm my order when I sat down. I think I got a short rib coming for dinner. I like the little amuse-bouches they do. This one was mozzarella and sun-dried tomato and an olive. It's very Mediterranean, really nice. And the wine was a Russian River Valley Chardonnay. And oh my god, it was so tasty. So the dinner service was really good. It was pretty much the same as last time. Just an unexciting salad for an appetizer. And then the main, which in this case was beef short rib, was cooked perfectly, cooked to my preference, which I've never had on a plane before, so that was cool. And then this time I just opted for cheese and no fruit for the dessert. I haven't decided yet whether I'll have the actual dessert. I think I'm going to skip the dessert and just head straight to bed. Okay, I accidentally slept the whole flight, which is not ideal as I landed in New York at night and we'll have to go back to sleep sometime soon. But it was a very comfortable bed. I'm a little too tall for it, but yeah, it was really easy to sleep. They have the absolute hottest hot towels. The amenity kit is the same on both flights, just a little soft pouch, which is quite nice. And then a comb, a shoehorn for some reason, an eye mask, and a little pack of lotions and cologne, as well as a dental kit. So nothing fancy, but everything you need. For breakfast, I pre-ordered an omelette online. It wasn't available on the in-flight menu, and I ordered it specifically because it came with a side of sausage and potatoes, because I wasn't really feeling an omelette or any other breakfast food really. And then I just rounded out with a fruit plate, and that's pretty much it for this flight. I am 40 minutes out of New York, and it's been great to experience Korean Air in both of these aircraft. So that was a pretty good 24 hours of travel. I wouldn't describe Korean Air as an ultra luxury airline, but they really nail the basics and they have a very consistent service. So the only difference between the two flights was the seats and the type of aircraft we were on, which is actually really nice. Not many airlines nail that level of consistency. And of those two, the 787, in theory, on paper, has the better seat. It's private, it's got direct aisle access, but in practice, that A380 with no one sitting next to you, and if you're on the window seat with the extra storage, so there's a few qualifiers, but it's much more comfier. And I just had such a good sleep, and it's now like 2 a.m. in New York, and I am still wide awake. The only thing I think they could do better on the A380 is they actually used to have a duty-free shop when those were new. They used to have a physical duty-free shop on board, and now that's kind of just a little bit of a derelict lounge. No one sits there, no one uses it. There were snacks out, but it was dark and it wasn't very nice. Whereas other airlines, particularly Emirates, really make the most out of that extra space. But thanks for watching this generic travel vlog. Hopefully I can make these more regularly, especially as I'm traveling a lot around the Americas in the next month or so. Have a good one.